Welcome to my Burning Crusade investment video, part 3. I've decided to sell all the primal life I had invested into, and I've made a profit of more than 14 times, so definitely a good decision to buy and sell these. I felt like it was a good decision to sell them at around 14 to 15 gold, but I had no clue they would actually peak at around 20 to 22. Another material I've sold is my void crystals. My average price were close to 18 gold, and I sold most of these for in between 45 to 50 gold. Some of the gold I've invested into Elixir of Demon Slaying, an amazing consumable, but not that useful as of right now. We gotta wait a couple of months before the price will probably be increasing. And to make this elixir, you will for example need ghost mushroom, which is why I've purchased some of those as well. But be aware, this is a longer term investment, and there's never any guarantee that you will make a profit, but hopefully the price will increase as we're getting closer to the release of tier 6 content. Another thing that has made me a decent profit is to whisper people selling things on the auction house and ask for a discount. In this case, for example, the recipe for the destruction potion that I managed to get for 215 gold. A couple of days later, the price has increased on the auction house and I managed to sell it for 600. As of right now, it's close to 400, and I'll continue to pay attention and probably buy them if they ever get back to around 250. Another recipe I'm buying is the one for the Haste potion. In fact, I tried to buy all of those being available on the auction house to increase the price, but sadly it didn't turn out the way I were hoping for, as more and more of these were showing up. Nonetheless, I'm still buying them whenever they're close to 700 gold, and I have no clue if it's going to turn out to be a great investment or not. The only reason why I'm investing into them is because I remember selling these for more than 2000 gold at the end of phase 2, so who knows if it will be the same in Anniversary. In the second part, I talked about investing into Scroll of Agility and Scroll of Strength rank 5, and it seems like the price is still a bit cheap. At least I'm buying these whenever they're close to 2 gold. I believe the price hasn't increased much because people are still leveling up, so a lot of these are being collected when people are questing. And remember, tier 4 content isn't that difficult, exactly why many players might not be using these yet. But what happens in the future all depends on if raids will be released as post or pre-nerf. At least this is the price in Burning Crusade Classic 2021 in phase 2. Many people were leveling up mining during the pre-patch, and a lot of the ores and bars were honestly fairly cheap. However, it seems like these are slowly increasing in price, so we're talking about classic ores and bars. Especially me-for ores and bars. I'm buying a lot of these whenever they're close to 40 to 45 silver, and I gotta be honest, I could potentially see these going all the way up to 1 gold each. Probably not in a week from now, but maybe in 1 or 2 months. Basically because many people are doing daily quests, so materials that will always be in a high demand might honestly increase due to the inflation. Yet another thing to remember is that whenever the price for ores are increasing, then it might happen to gems as well. Basically because you need to prospect 5 ores to get different gems, for example 5 Meathl ores to have a chance to get the aquamarine. Many people are currently speed leveling mining as you can make so much gold in Outland, but what I've noticed is that many people are buying a silver ore, melting it into a bar to speed level, but then they post the bars so cheap, exactly why I'm buying those. At some point there might not be as many people leveling up mining, and this is where there might be a price increase for the bars, as these are for example needed as an engineer and jewel crafter. Another jewel crafting material I'm paying attention to is the Flask of Mojo, a material you can mainly farm in the dungeon Sulfur Rack, and it has a low drop chance. Many mages were of course farming Sulfur Rack during the classic release, exactly why there are so many of these on the auction house, but at some point I believe less and less will show up. I mean, if you compare the gold you can make at max level, so a quest at 70 is equal to around 10 gold, where a stack of Flask of Mojo is around 1.5 gold, but farming a stack of Flask of Mojo is probably 20 to 30 minutes of work, exactly why I believe the price for these will increase. I've also decided to purchase lower level rare items. There are many explanations. First off, we just had the pre-patch, so many people were leveling up Draenei's and Blood Elves and everyone undercutting each other. Currently, most people are leveling in Outland or doing max level contents such as heroics and raids. I know the 58 character boost is available, but then again there will still be people leveling up fresh characters, and when I'm able to get these rare items for next to nothing, then I'm for sure buying them. I'm not just buying any rare items, I'm mainly looking out for items having a high value in the future, so Twink items and others with a very low drop chance, such as these 2 headpieces or the Pendulum of Doom from Older Man. The biggest downside with Twink items is that the majority of the player base enjoys max level content, not doing BGs at level 19, 29 or 39, so this is a longer term and more risky investment. However, I managed to get my Pendulum of Dooms for an average price of 370 gold. Talking about rare items, I've purchased level 68 to 70 rare items. Most people are leveling up their professions, and because of this, well, then a lot of these rare items are honestly not expensive at all. One thing to be aware of is that if I'm not going to resell these, well, then I can always get them disenchanted and get a large prismatic shard. A quick example, the fell steel gloves, crafted by blacksmithers, and it's mainly recommended in most blacksmithing guides. As of right now, these are less than 9 gold, but the insane thing is that you'll need 6 fell steel bars to craft these, and the average price for these is between 20 to 25 gold. So as you can imagine, I'm honestly getting these rather cheap. In case they won't increase in price, well, then I can always disenchant them into a large prismatic shard, which is close to the same price. Talking about the large prismatic shard, it seems like we can still make a profit simply by buying small prismatic shards and nexus crystals. You can for example transform a nexus crystal into a small prismatic shard and 3 small prismatic shards into a large prismatic shard, and in most cases, nexus crystals are the cheapest solution. I'm still holding on to my dark runes. These peaked at around 9 gold during the tier 4 release day, and it has ever since decreased. Flame caps were close to 3 gold, so I'm continuing to buy these. Who knows what will happen in phase 2 if the content is going to be more difficult. I mean, people knew tier 4 wouldn't be that difficult, so if the price could go all the way up to twice as much, imagine what will happen during tier 5 progression if it's actually going to be difficult. Then every single Burning Crusade consumable will become so much more expensive, at least those having a huge impact on your rating progression. Exactly why I'm just holding on to my scrolls. These scrolls are almost twice as expensive compared to my average price, but then again, if I can hold on to these for a couple of months and them being twice as expensive by then, well, then I've made a way bigger profit. And it's all about making the profit. Meanwhile, I'll continue to invest into rare items, materials such as ores and bars, especially meaful ores and bars, and some other secrets that I will share in the next video. Talking about the next video, then remember my members has early access to this, just like they had with this video and the previous episodes. So am I saying you need to be a member of the channel? Definitely not. I mean, it will help me as a content creator, and hopefully you will make an even bigger profit, but there's always a risk when you're investing into these things. So far, everything has paid off, but then again, I could be wrong. I'm just comparing old data and videos from 2021, where we're selling these things a lot more expensive, but maybe it's going to be so much different in Anniversary. Nonetheless, I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you would like to see more Burning Crusade investments in the future, gold making and other useful guides, well then make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell to get notified. As always, thank you so much for watching and have an amazing day. Peace.